Friday night in Oklahoma, which means in a few weeks, Friday night in Oklahoma means football, specifically OU football. Welcome to the Sooner Surge. Another week down, another week closer to this season. Chester Carter starting it off, as you always do, in a great way. And tonight we say thank you so much, Chester, for that super. We appreciate you. Boomer Sooner for life. Comments are rolling in, Jay. I see someone asking about high school football. I agree with Gary Wolford, a Sooner Surge Unlimited member who's picking Jinx. They're basically getting everyone they want to go to that school right now. But, Jay, exciting times right now. Greg God mentioned in the Peyton Bowen interception, which was absolutely sick.
That was a great catch. I mean, unbelievable. And tomorrow, Brent Venables is going to talk to the media at 10:30 in the morning, so get to hear him speak.
What do you expect?
I expect kind of like what you heard from the players yesterday. I think it's going to be great stuff from Brent Venables, and everything's going to be positive, and we'll see. I don't know if you'll really learn a whole lot, but we'll see. Maybe. I mean, I don't know, Jeremy. I do think there's a lot of confidence right now from this team, especially defensively.
And rightfully so. Yeah, Ron, Washington is where Nate Roberts playing football. I believe Nate Roberts plays there, and I want to say Alexander's son.
Yeah, maybe so. Hey, Kip Lewis he's ripped.
This whole team is ripped, Jay. They're going to pass the eye test. That's a fact.
What do you mean, Jackson?
Jackson, you're absolutely wrong to say Jinx NIL is a joke to lose to Bigsby. The reason they lost to Bigsby is Bigsby's an oiled machine all the way up from the youngsters all the way up to the top. It's not an NIL issue. Bigsby did not win because Jinx NIL is a joke. That's bad.
What was I going to get to? I was going to get something on here. I can't find it. My bad. Anyway, another Saturday tomorrow, which means what? Is that 3 more Saturdays after tomorrow? It's football? I think so.
OU's on a Friday night, though, Jay.
Hey, Matt, they have the best strength. You're right. They have the best weight strength room of anybody. I mean, we had TJ Eckert on, what was that, like a year and a half, 2 years ago? And he specifically talked about Jackson. I know you're on the sidelines a lot there with Bigsby, and yeah, they pump the iron, man. They dominate in that aspect. I don't think that can be questioned. Hey, let me say something real quick. Get it off my chest.
Go ahead, Jay.
I'm going to get something off my chest. And here it is. I know there's a lot of preseason rankings that come out, and I get it. It gets me going, my blood flowing and stuff. I get it. But I don't want them to do away with preseason rankings. I don't. But I think you have to do away with something, and it's the watch list. The preseason watch list for all the awards. Get rid of them. I don't like them. I mean, you have the punter list come out today. Luke Elzinga's on it. That's fine. But a lot of these guys, I mean, how much did Luke Elzinga punt last year?
Enough to realize he's better than Plaster.
Correct. But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of the preseason lists are based off who you play for, maybe where you're ranked in the stand. I think there's too many guys on the list. I mean, go look at the Maxwell list. Go look at some of these lists. There's too many guys. You all know that a lot of those guys are not going to be down there and stretch. Maybe if you're going to put a list, I'd go with 10 or something. I don't know. I just would not do the preseason list. I don't like it.
They're dumb.
Wait a couple games and then come out with it. That's my
opinion. I agree. It's the same with preseason polls. It's all of it. It's for the fans and for these players and for notoriety. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, Bobby, you're right. When I saw Jackson Arnold was on there, I said, well, let's see who else is on there. It's ridiculous how many guys are on that list.
It is. Too many. So, I don't know. It's probably nothing that'll ever go away, but I just think it's too many on there for the preseason. So, what purpose do they serve? Here's the thing. They don't really serve any purpose except I guess, and maybe this is a question I don't know, but what if you're not on the list? Can you make the list later? Or if you're not on the list, you can't make it. I think you have to be on the list to win the award, right?
No, Jay, that's absolutely false.
No, that's not false.
Then you're contradicting yourself. There's a reason there's all these people on the list then, Jay. You have to put them on there.
That's why there shouldn't be one. I think it's stupid. I do think you have to be on the preseason list to win it, I think. But
if that's the case, then they should put that many on it, Jay. You're kind of being contradictory there, man.
I am not. Don't even come at me with that.
I'm not coming at you. I'm simply stating a fact. And Gary, you're right. There's a lot of sport SID, the sports information directors. Their job, one of their main jobs, is to get notoriety about their players and to promote them. That's absolutely right. But Jay, Eric and Tyler are saying the same thing. You don't have to be on the list to win. So you're saying if someone wasn't on the list, they can't win it? That's absurd, Jay.
I think on like the Maxwell Award.
No.
I'm pretty sure you have to be on the list.
Maybe Hunter will verify. I say absolutely not.
Okay. Whatever. I may be wrong. I'll be the first one to admit if I'm wrong. I just thought you had to be on the list and win it. But
Colin, my answer to this is all of the above. All of the above, Colin. I want to hear, and I guess it's, do we really want to hear about these guys? Because every time we hear about guys in fall camp, it seems to be a bad trend. They don't play during the regular season.
Hey,
okay,
but right. Eric, here's what I'm saying. And I think y'all are making my point for me. Why have a list? If it doesn't matter, why have it? Why have a watch list? Why?
We're not agreeing with you. You said.
Tell me. No, I want to know why the schools and everybody puts these out on Twitter. Look who's on the watch list for this award. Why does it matter?
Clicks.
Why does it matter? If it doesn't
People
matter.
Like it, Jay. Clicks. Yes.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up after the show. I'm going to find it.
Chester thinks Casey Thompson's to back up. Again, I think maybe 3 guys play the first 4 games. I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility. Yeah.
I mean, I know to generate hype, guys. I know that's a big deal, but I'm with Greg out here. You know what I would love? I would love. I say that, but it seems like every year the guys you hear all about in the camp, you don't hear a whole lot about in the season. So I hope it's not that way. I mean, I would love. There's a guy I'd love to see how he's doing, and I think if I was in the media and I was able to ask a question tomorrow, there would be one guy I would ask about because I've been intrigued by him out of high school. Haven't heard a whole lot. Danny Okoye. I'd like to know how he's progressing. I would, because I think weight room wise, all the strength stuff, he's an athletic freak. And because you hear talk about all the other guys, I'd like to know about Danny Okoye. And I hope that tomorrow, maybe from Brent Venables, we do get some really good questions that he's able to kind of give us some insight into some things. But
here's what I'll say. I want BB to say something that's maybe not coach speak. Let's hear something that's not coach speak. Colin, I'm going to say which one is the most surprising. I got 2 teams I think are the most surprising this year. Auburn and LSU. Unfortunately, OU gets them both on the road. I think Auburn and LSU are going to surprise people. I like Hugh Freeze a lot, and I like Nussmeier, the quarterback for LSU, a whole lot. Disappointing, I'm saying Missouri and Ole Miss. I'm going to stick with those 2 as being the most disappointing. By the way, when your name becomes a verb, I don't know if that's good or bad, Jay, but when people say they're going to go germ on people, I love it, Mark. My name is a verb.
We know you love it. I'm sure after the call tonight, we're all going to hear about how much you love that your name is a verb. So thanks Mark. Appreciate you pumping his ego up a little bit more. He doesn't have a big enough head as it is. Now you just gave him a bigger head. It's
absolutely
ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Hey, yeah, the Bowen pick was insane. What was I going to say? Dang it, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, you brought up Ole Miss. What's the deal? Is it a rumor, the ACL stuff about Jackson Dart?
I hope it is not true. I hope it is not true, Jay.
I mean, I don't know if people saw a lot of rumors were going about him tearing an ACL. Then it was basically a rumor. But then, I mean, you even had SEC Mike tweet out tonight the picture of Jackson Dart throwing the ball that Ole Miss put out, and he put a clutch leader, ACL. I thought it was kind of funny. I think it was kind of a click deal. I think it was funny. I think he was being sarcastic because it was a rumor. And so that kind of, to me, told me all the validity was it's a rumor. Because I think SEC Mike was kind of making fun of the rumor. So
Craig from ATL is back. When are we landing a 5-star O lineman? August 21st is the Fasusi commitment. I'm up to 57%. It kind of goes up 1% every 2 or 3 days. Yep, you got to get a puka shell necklace if you're going to go germ on someone. Hey,
Colin, real quick, let me answer this. This is so hard to answer because you got to win all your home games, I think. Okay, first off. But I've said it for the last 5 months. There is one game you must win, in my opinion. You have to win to make the playoffs. You have to beat Missouri. I think that's a must. Okay, that's one game because I think the way their schedule is and stuff, you got to have that win over them. And Ole Miss is kind of along the same line as that. But I think one of those two, if you're 9-3 and you beat Missouri or Ole Miss, I think that win would put you ahead of the other one, which I think would get you in. That's kind of my thought. But at the same time, you have to go win your other games. You can't slip up. You can't slip up at Auburn. And another one is this game. I mean, we're all talking about 9-3 at OU. I mean, what do you have to be to go 9-3 if your last game's against LSU on the road? Does that mean you need to be sitting at 9-2 going into that game? I mean,
Jay,
8-3 going into that game. We'll see. There's a lot of swing games, guys.
in my opinion, maybe the most overused word in college football outside of catch the ball in space, outside of, ooh, this guy's good in space. Outside of that, there's one other phrase that's way overused. Must win. Every game's a must win. We're going to talk about must win in week 4. This is a must win against Tennessee. Oh, this is a must win against Auburn. Oh, this is a must win against Ole Miss. This is a must. I mean, it's overplayed. They're all big games.
They are
college football.
Okay, but Jeremy, they are. I understand what you're saying, but it's different this year because of this reason. If OU were to go 9-3, okay,
yeah,
and lose to South Carolina, say they lost to South Carolina, Auburn, and Ole Miss, they're not making playoffs.
What? Say that again.
If they were to go 9-3 and their 3 losses were South Carolina, Auburn, and Ole Miss,
oh, they definitely could go to the playoffs. They would have beaten Texas, Bama, LSU. Like what?
Yeah, I understand, but I don't think I picked the right teams here because I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take wins over Texas, Bama. I don't want to lose to the Gamecocks.
What I'm saying is 9-3. You got to have. I think the 9-3 with the win over Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss. Those 3 games I think are key. You can't just lose 3 other. I mean, you got to win a certain number of those big games. I think.
If you want to say what the must is, here's the must. And we've got Mez dropping his 12-0 nightly. We got Ron Brown, 8-4. Be happy. We don't need Bobby McFerrin on the Surgeaholics. We got Ron Brown, 8-4, and be happy. Here's the must, Jay. There's one must for OU this year. You ready for it? There's a must. You have to be at least 9-3. That's a must.
Oh, but I agree with that.
That's a must.
9-3, but the way you get to 9-3 is going to matter this year.
I get what you're saying, but
9-3 does not guarantee them a playoff.
I mean, I'm not going to say guaranteed, but 9-3 with their schedule, is. I didn't say guaranteed.
Depends on who you beat.
Agree, but you just threw a scenario that was trash.
I did. I know that was. But what I'm saying, my point is,
there's enough good teams on that schedule. You're going to beat a couple really, really good teams.
Yeah, but if you go 9-3 and you don't beat Missouri, and Missouri's 10-2, they're in.
Okay, they're in. There's going to be 4 or 5 SEC schools, Jay.
That's why I'm saying it's important on who you beat. So
I highly disagree with Mez right here, Mez. I think Garrett Nussmeier is so much better than people think.
I agree with Mess. I'm not sold. I'm not sold.
Part of the reason is Daniels was so up there as far as athletic ability, and people all year are going to talk about how bad Nussmeier is. This guy is a football player. He's been a football player his whole life. He's, like Bobby says, he's been around football players, football coaches. This guy is way, way, way underappreciated and talked about. I put him above Jackson Dart.
What's he done, though?
He had a great bowl game.
We're going to base it on that game?
No, we're not, Jay. I'm just saying I think his stock should be higher than what some people are saying. That's all I'm saying.
I think the jury's still out.
Well, the jury's out on every one, Jay. The jury's absolutely out.
Yeah.
8-4 is a disaster. I would be irate. I disagree. You can't say 8-4 be happy. If it's 8-4, Brent Venables' seat this time next year is smoking hot if he's still on it.
Hey, not only that, listen, not only the record, in my opinion, but wait a second.
Whoa, Mike.
Mike will, hey, we were just talking about you, 2 days ago, we were asking in our chat, talking about you. Hope you're doing good, man. Missed you for sure. Glad you're on here. Hey, lost my train of thought, man, with Big Mike coming in here. What was I going to say? Dang it. Oh, the record thing would be, disaster, Mess says. But here's the other thing. If this defense isn't really good, that would be an issue, in my opinion. Defensive-minded coach, defensive talent all over the field, guys returning. I mean, do we all think they have the talent on defense? Yes. If they're not good defensively, then I think it's one of two things. Either one, the offense stunk so bad they gave the other team the ball so much. Or two, they're still not grasping the defense. I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's right, Jay.
I don't think we're going to have to worry about it. I think they're going to be dang good. So
jury's out on that. I'm going to go to Greg God and then Colin's question. Greg God, I agree with you. And listen, coming from my mouth, this means a lot. And I'm not one who's going to sit here and sway on my opinions. I've been saying from the get-go, Jackson Arnold's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. I'm not backing from that. I'm adding to it. I think Jackson Arnold and Garrett Nussmeier are the two best, maybe be the two best quarterbacks in this league when it's all said and done. I am that high on Nussmeier, Jay.
Okay, real quick, though, I want to ask you a question. Answer this straight up, okay? You're picking 9-3, right? What do you think about 9-3? What would you think about that record?
I
Answer it.
think 9-3 has a caveat with it, Jay. It's got an asterisk, and I'll tell you why. Would I take 9-3? Absolutely. It's what I've been picking all year. But just like last year, I would have taken 10-2 last year if the 2 losses were only Texas.
But listen, here's where I'm getting at. You're picking 9-3. And you're saying that would be a good season. No, yet one game difference, you're saying is an absolute disaster.
Actually, Jay, I've been saying 10-2 all year,
but 9-3
game
difference is an absolute disaster.
Yes, it is, Jay. Yes, it is. Because it goes from OU being playoff team.
I think Iowa Sooner nailed it on the head. 7-5 disaster.
I can buy that too. I can buy that too.
Disappointing. 9-3 darn good, but maybe not enough. 10-2 lights out. But I will say this: 8-4 is very disappointing.
I love what Iowa Sooner just said. I can get on board with that. But you are absolutely kidding yourself, Jason. If you would not be irate, look, I'm not going to change. I'm irate at 8-4. You're not
happy at 8-4. No way. Yeah.
You're irate.
Yeah, I'm not happy at all, Jeremy. I agree.
If you're on here and you're going to be happy at 8-4, stop calling me, a sunshine pumper. If you're happy with 8-4.
This is a very interesting comment, Eric, and I may be with you on this because
I'm 100% with them.
Because here's the deal, and what you will have in 25 that you don't have in 24 is some of that talent from that 24 class will be up there and be playing more. So that's really good. But here's the thing, and I'm going to say it right now. If OU doesn't land Fasusi or Balboa or another one, and they end up 10 or 11 or 12 in the recruiting rankings, that's not great in 25 for the recruiting class.
No, and Jay, I see Greg Goddard. Someone said y'all were screaming Natty in 2025. First off, I know a lot of viewers on here have been screaming that.
You did. I think you did too.
But here's what I'm saying. There will be as good of athletes on the 2025 team, maybe even better in some areas. They will not have the overall veteran leadership that the 2024 team has. What do you remember, Bobby? You remember me saying, Natty?
Hey, real quick.
It all depends on what 2024. You're talking over me, Jay.
I want to say something about the 25 team. I think the 2025 team, well, after this year, we may look at it and say that 25 team is going to be outstanding because some of these young players may be off the charts.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have Jackson Arnold a whole year underneath him. And you have whoever it could be at running back. I mean, who knows what Tatum's going to turn. There's so many ifs, though. That's my thing on it. You can't sit here and say it right now. I haven't even seen the 2024 team play. But I definitely think 2025 could be a great chance. Maybe the schedule's a lot better. We don't know, but I think everyone's right. I'm focused on 2024 right now, so it's hard to really give it.
They're gonna be better in some areas because of experience that have been added after 20. Like Jackson Arnold should be better in 2025, but overall they won't have the veteran leadership, and I think that is being downplayed. The veteran leadership, as we've heard from the players, that's really important this year. I think you saw it a little bit with Michigan last year. It means a lot. That's why I think 2024 right now, for people to say, oh, let's just be happy with 8. You can't be happy with 8-4 with this crew that's there. You got to go 10-2 or 9-3. Which young running linebacker do you expect to see the field most this fall, Jay?
Young? I mean, how young are you talking? Kip Lewis young or younger? If you're talking younger, maybe a Lewis Carter. I'd like to see Sammy Oshimino out there. I don't know what position. Hey, let me say this real quick, though. On the 2025 team guys, Danny Stutzman's out of this world. Billy Bowman's out of this world. Woody Washington is a really good player, okay? But I think you take those 3 out of the defense, okay? I think the rest of the defense, other than Ethan Downs, will all be back, right?
Yeah, they will.
So, I do think you're losing a big core on defense in a few guys, but I think the majority of that depth that are playing in 2024 and getting snaps, they will be better in 2025 in that aspect.
Especially at edge. Danny Okoye is a beast. Danny Stutzman's a beast, I think is what Craig's referring to. But they got some dudes around. Jay, I know it's time for trivia. I think the biggest question we got to ask right now is, can anyone stop Bobby from getting his name on the wheel again?
I got it.
OU Houston ticket giveaway, August 16th. It's going to be here before you know it. These seats are prime seats down low in the end zone, courtesy of FanStop. Appreciate FanStop so much. Check them out at www.thefanstop.com. Sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. Please, you won't be disappointed. Use our code SURGE to get 10% off. Also, if you sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club, email us, ousportsroundup@gmail.com. Your name will be on the wheel 7 times for a chance to win the tickets. Jay, stump Bobby. Stump Bobby. Here we go.
Real quick, though. This is why I love this channel and these viewers, is they will call you out, and I totally slipped up and didn't even think about Dominique Williams. Yeah, he won't be back probably. You're probably right. Thanks, Surgeaholics. You guys, I know you guys are holding us accountable.
I think it depends on how he plays this year.
I mean, it does, but there's a good chance he's not back. Okay, trivia tonight. Let's see what we got. Bobby,
you want my trivia or yours?
I'll go mine, and then if you want to throw yours out there, you can, Jeremy. We can go double whammy tonight, unless you want to go yours first.
That's right.
Here we go. Surgeaholics versus Bobby tonight. Let's see. Last year, OU versus Texas game. Last drive of the game. On what yard line was Oklahoma on the Nick Anderson pass interference call? What yard line was that ball snapped at?
They're going to get that easy. Jay, I think there should be a prize pick of, would you take Surgeaholics or Bobby? The field against Bobby.
Tone Loke says 6. Nope.
That may be where the last play was made. This is the interference call, though.
Haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen it yet.
I want to know what the answer is to this one, though, here in a minute. Man, I've got some stumps going on here.
I think the answer to that question for BV's cowboy hat was probably around $1,000.
I still don't see the answer. Have you seen it?
I
Hunter,
have not.
Let me know if you've seen it in here.
When Hunter sees it, he can drop it. Eric's getting farther back, I think.
I think we got to give it to Gray God here. Because it was like the 20 and a half.
There's Bobby right there.
It was like the 20 and a half, man.
Bobby got 20.
Hunter,
let's give Bobby and Gray got an answer.
Because it was, and here's the thing about that play. Drake Stoops was actually on the 19-yard line. When they snapped that ball, it was like the 20 and a half. I rewatched.
Wait, Michael got 21st. Steve Stutzman said that hat went for $10,000. Is that accurate, Steve?
That is
I was guessing 1,000. Wow, if it's $10,000.
I might have bought it for 1,000 though, Jeremy. I'm sure
Michael got it first.
Sure he signed it, did he not? There it is. Thunder OU Sooner said 10,000.
So Michael and Gray God will get the trivia.
Yeah, let's give them both the point. Wow, $10,000. Steve, did you buy it?
Hey, Jay, speaking of what you were talking about earlier, you're losing the core, but like Peyton Bowen and RSJ at safeties for another year, that's still really good.
I think RSJ is getting to go off. He's getting ready to have a huge year.
Yeah, I think he is as well, Jay. I think RSJ can bring the hard stick. He can hit hard. To me, Peyton Bowen's more of a playmaker, whereas RSJ, I think, is more of the heavy hitter, bringing down in the box on the run game. But, man, I really see Peyton Bowen as a playmaker in the air after the ball.
I am very intrigued this year to see what they do in that backfield. To see when you talk about guys like Billy Bowman, Peyton Bowen, RSJ. I mean, I think there's going to be some times where all three of them are out there together. I mean, especially if you're playing 3-down linemen. I mean, if they're playing a 3-down line front, they're going to have multiple. I don't know. I'm interested to see how they're going to do that and the rotation and how they're going to do. Reggie Powers is going to be an unbelievable player at Oklahoma.
Again, I'm going to say this. I say this probably once a week. If Reggie Powers, Danny Okoye, Boganowski, guys like that are not playing special teams, I think it's a big mistake by the coaching staff.
Yeah,
you get some of the young guys playing time by playing them on the special teams. These athletic freaks, get them out there, get them some game time, and then you also don't risk some of your other guys getting hurt. To me, I think that's what you got to do. Hunter says they did that last year some.
They did.
And I'd love to see it again, Jay. Again, I'm going to say what here Sooner Cowboys talking about. Sooner Cowboys says, I want to see the guys on the D-line. If OU ain't able to stop the run better and get to the quarterback more, then OU's not going to have a top 30 defense. Here's what I'm going to say. Peyton Bowen said it. Other guys have said it in their post-practice interviews. They are saying this common language. We want to be the number one defense in the country. They're not even using the SEC. They're saying the country. Now, everyone says, well, they say that every year. No, they don't. They don't say that every year. They're speaking that way. It's common language. I think that they really believe this year they can be the best on that side of the ball. I don't think it's just them saying that. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I mean,
if you see them coming out of the weight room, they're massive. They've made gains, and they've got veterans.
Well,
watch out.
I think the weight room stuff, I get it. And everybody expects you to be bigger, faster, stronger every year, especially under Schmitty. That, to me, is like, okay, yeah, I get that. To me, though, it's the mind and it's the understanding of the defense again. I think another year. And I think I've heard a few players say that they're able to like actually now what other wrinkles can we throw in there? They know the defense so well. It's like, let's try some other stuff. I think that's where they're going to make a big jump because you got another year under Brent Venables' schemes with guys that have played in it quite a bit. So it's gonna make massive leaps, I think, in that aspect. And hey, number one defense. If they're the number one defense in the SEC, they got to be in the playoff. I mean, but
Jay,
this will be the year though. This will be the year though, and I don't know what year you'd have to go back to Oklahoma. That might be a good question, Surgeaholics. When was the last season that you think the Oklahoma defense was the actual? They won them games by themselves. And
you got to go away, Jay.
I mean, offense didn't do hardly anything the whole game, and defense won it for them. It's been a while.
I mean, the 2000 national championship team had a couple games. The last 2 or 3 of that season, the offense sputtered and the defense rose to the occasion time and time again. But I've said this, Jay. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think I said 10, 20, 30. Top 10 offense, top 20 defense, top 30 special teams. You're in the playoff and you're going to have a chance for a natty. Top 10 offense.
We can talk about it till you're blue in the face about where it puts you making a playoff. The season's going to come down to, just like it did last year, it's going to come down to one possession games. I mean, everybody knows they're not going to go into games and probably just destroy people in the SEC. It's going to be tight games. It always is. That to me is when the defense makes the biggest impact, is when close games and you have to get a stop and you get a stop or you get a turnover. And we all know they were great last year in turnovers. I think they're going to have a really good team this year in getting turnovers. But I think they'll make key stops that maybe last year they needed a couple more stops.
Well, and Jay, I think they were better in turnovers last year. It's clear. And they were better in short yardage defense. They got some key short yardage stops that they were not getting prior to last year. And they got those. I think they continue to make some improvements on, a couple of those big third down plays last year. I'm going to say it again. I think it was partly coaching because they should have used a timeout. They should have got guys where they wanted them, really talked it over before some of those big third down plays that end up biting them in the butt. And that's part of the reason I think BV said, bye, Ted Roof. Welcome, Zach Alley. Let me be the CEO and see these things so I can make those calls.
Hey, real quick, I want to get to this question, Sooner fan. They need to get to the opposing quarterback more consistently. Agreed. And here's what I'll say is, I think this year's defense is going to be way more aggressive. I got a feeling they're going to be very aggressive. And I'm just an average Joe that doesn't know a whole lot about what's going on at practice. I'm just saying I got a gut feeling just listening to them talk. Zach Alley coming in, the guys they got out of the portal, the guys that are coming back, how confident they are in the defense and being in it another year, I think they're going to be very aggressive. I mean, and to the fact that I think they may put a couple defensive backs on an island by themselves and go to town. I hope they are aggressive.
Jay, I wouldn't call you an average Joe. I'd call you an average Jay.
Oh, but that's a good one, man. That is so
great.
Good.
Great God. I agree. Downs the guy I think everyone thinks can really step up. But again, Jay, you can be more aggressive. Let's forget Ted Roof and say, I think you can be more aggressive. It should be natural. If you have better defensive linemen that can get to the quarterback, or if your secondary is really, really good, which everyone believes it is, you can take more chances. Exactly what Tone Loke says. Funky Cole Medina right there. Be more aggressive, DB's man up.
You got to have guys like, I mentioned this guy, Derek Strait. Derek Strait locked you up straight up. Guys like that can do that. Favorite football tradition?
I've got one. And it's not really a football tradition in colleges. It's my family football tradition. And Thursday night on August 29th, I'll be watching Rudy. The day before OU's first game.
Rudy football. Yeah.
My tradition.
I did see this. I did see that mess. and the three that were ahead of him, I think it was LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. So, I mean, that's good. I think if you ask Brent Venables, they want to be right there with Alabama and Georgia. I think that's kind of the goal, right? Going into it.
Yeah.
I don't know on Helms, guys.
No one knows.
I don't think anybody knows because you haven't seen him. He looks the part. I mean, I'd have to see it, though.
What's the best line from that movie, Jay?
The best line from Rudy?
Yeah. That's a good one, what Sooner fan just dropped.
That's a good one. I'd have to
5 foot nothing, 100 to nothing. That's a great movie. I wish I would never have heard the actual true story.
Well, don't believe the true story. It's a movie, dude. Why do you believe the true
Based
story?
on a true story, Jay.
I mean, you can believe the true story, but you can still enjoy the movie.
I still enjoy it.
I mean, that's about the only thing you'll ever say anything good about Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, probably. You're probably right on that.
I mean, dude, what about USC putting all those stuff out about how much physicality?
They gained 1,400 pounds, Jay.
1,400 pounds. How many guys is that?
Let's say 120.
They don't have 120 on the roster. Say they have 100. That would be 14 pounds apiece.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about right, isn't it?
That's pretty good, Jay.
Now, this is a good one by Matt. Notre Dame sucks. True story. I love it, Matt.
There's the true story. First rounder this year. Greg, I think they have a chance to have a couple of first rounders.
Here's the thing, though. I think going forward, starting this year, you're in the SEC. If you want to be a consistent playoff team, I think you have to have 3 to 5 players drafted every year. Maybe more. 5 to 7. 5 to 7 players drafted every year, I think. 5 to 7 drafted every year to be a top of the SEC.
Hey, Greg, God, here's what I'll say. I'm not going to pick who I think is going to be. I'll say some names that can be. A lot of this is depending on who is drafting, what their needs are. Obviously, safeties don't usually go first round, but depending on Billy Bowman's year, Danny Stutzman, if someone's getting a linebacker early, depending on his year, Dominic Williams, DeJoun Terry, depending on his year, there are guys that can definitely, I think, be drafted in the first round. And then on the offensive side, I don't really see a first rounder. I don't think Deion Burks gets there a first round, but I don't know. That would be some names, but I don't know those.
Hey, Hunter, let me clarify because I saw the comment about first rounder. When I said 3 to 5, I'm saying like top 2 or 3 rounds. I'm not saying for the whole draft. My bad. I know that made no sense when I said it because OU gets 3 or 5 guys drafted some years. So, but I think you got to have some guys that are in the first few rounds consistently if you're wanting to be top of the SEC. Go look at Alabama and Georgia. They have probably in the first 3 rounds, they probably have a consistent 3 to 5 players drafted every year. Notre Dame football is over for sure. I'm not sold on Marcus Freeman. I'm not.
Hey, the fact of the matter is, no one, for you to say none are first rounders, I disagree with you. You don't know what season they're going to have. Now, I'll say this. Do they have the potential to be a first rounder? If you don't think they have the potential to be a first rounder, then I'll take that as your opinion, and you can have that opinion. I think it depends on what those teams need in the NFL. That really drives a lot of it. And yes, those positions are not highly drafted as much as some other ones, but I'm not going to sit here and say that they don't have the potential to be a first-round draft pick because they do. They have the potential. You got to play it now. And I think the starting safety game 1 against Temple next to Billy Bowman is going to be RSJ. And I do think that what Peyton Bowen said about Woody Washington is exactly what we all thought. Peyton Bowen said he's playing everywhere. He's playing everywhere.
Well, that's why I said earlier, I think they're going to move guys around a lot this year. I think they're going to be very multiple in what they do. I mean, that's what Brent Venables wants to do. Everybody knows that. That's what's made him so good for years on defensive as a defensive mind is he's very multiple. He's not one, he's not one defensive thing. He just mixes it up.
Jay, 3 weeks actually. Next week's the 9th. Then we got the 16th and we got the 23rd. And then guess what? It's game day. As far as we know, Gentry's 100%. I agree. Stop sleeping on RSJ. He's a heavy hitter. He's been doing everything right. He's made a lot of plays. I think he plays a ton this year. But we're going to find out on August 30th. I can't wait, Jay. It's going to be here very quickly. I'm ready to see more practices. I'm ready to hear from BV tomorrow at 10:30. We'll have a lot to talk about tomorrow night. Make sure you guys are on here as well, as you always are. Hit that like right now. Hit the like before you exit. Before you get off this live, please hit the like. We appreciate you all being on here. Thanks so much. Trivia winners tonight. We had
Gray God.
Gray God and
Mike. Was it Michael?
It was Michael. Yes, Michael. That is correct. Appreciate everyone. Week 1 starting. Man, they're dropping it in here, Jay. We may have to. We'll talk about it tomorrow, right, Jay?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll hit it tomorrow.
We'll hit it all tomorrow.
Talk about linebacker.
Andrew Anthony will hit tomorrow. We'll talk about the linebacking core specifically. Thanks for watching tonight. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a fantastic Saturday. Glad to have you back, Mike.